Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 24th of June, 2020. So there were a couple of big stories that happened. And so Leah says to me, can we do a show tonight? And I was like, I don't know. We have dogs here. He just made a little bit.
So I just really wanted to come real quick with two big stories. The biggest story today is that
Flynn.
If you don't remember, if you haven't been following the Flynn case, he was set up by the FBI. Mm-hmm. Not only the FBI, but Joe Biden and Obama. Okay? He was railroaded, and Obama ordered this investigation open. We had thought when Sidney Powell took over, things might change, and they did for the better.
Sidney Powell was Flynn's lawyer.
Yeah. Took over as Flynn's legal counsel. We thought that Judge Sullivan might be fair. It turns out that Judge Sullivan is anything but fair. He's actually anti-law and justice. When the DOJ saw that Flynn's case had been mishandled under William Barr, they dropped the case. But Judge Sullivan said, no, we can't drop this case.
I'm a judge.
Well, guess what? That doesn't happen. And it was sent to the
circuit court.
Three judge panel circuit court, and they actually looked at the case. And it feels like it's been several weeks. Well, they denied Judge Sullivan's case to keep the case open.
I said to Leah today when we were outside playing badminton.
Yeah.
I wanted to call it backgammon. I said, who are they going to get to prosecute it? When the prosecutor says, we're not prosecuting, and the judge says, well, no. We have to prosecute this guy.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Judges don't get to do that. Judges don't get to be prosecutor and judge. Now, a lot of judges end up as judges because they were first prosecutors. And I think sometimes they get their wires crossed and they think to themselves, I am a prosecutor and I would prosecute this.
Exactly. Judge Sullivan was ordered to shut down the General Flynn case. The D.C. Appeals Court upholds Justice Department's request. The D.C. Appeals Court dropped all charges against General Michael Flynn Wednesday morning this morning. The ruling is only partially for General Michael Flynn, as the Appeals Court ordered Sullivan to dismiss the case. Gleason's appointment as amicus immediately was vacated. However, they declined to request to kick Judge Sullivan off the case immediately. They were just told, you've got to let it go. Ruling was 2-1. Henderson and Rao ruling for Flynn. Wilkins dissented. This guy, Undercover Hooper, says, me a few weeks ago after Sullivan's attempted defense to the writ. Strong chance of a writ of memandus being issued for Flynn, 2-1 after this hot garbage. It goes on and on like this while avoiding the core issue at hand, Rule 48, and FOCA require him to dismiss the case. He can investigate it all he likes. That's never going to change. Strong chance of a writ of memorandus being issued 2-1, so that he got this right. Let me see. Donald Trump comes out and immediately says, great, appeals court upholds Justice Department's request to drop criminal case against General Michael Flynn.
It's so great.
Again,
it's
he
so
says,
exciting.
Is James Comey and his band of dirty cops going to apologize to General Flynn and make others and many others for what they have done to ruin his life? What about Robert Mueller and his angry Democrat cronies? Are they going to say so sorry? And what about Obama and Biden?
On Twitter right now, you have 2020 followers. Right now.
Don't make a difference.
Awesome. Hang on, we got an ad. I'm going to play Donald Trump.
That's 2020, but it says
awesome.
2020.
That's awesome.
Everybody.
Wait, another ad? Kidding, right? Hang on. Skip another ad.
It's not stuff in this world's not free, Leah.
I know.
You got to pay for it.
It's just going to keep going, ad after ad,
until you watch one.
Until I watch one.
Can you just mute it and let it go?
It's muted.
All right, we've muted it. We're waiting on it.
We're waiting on it. Donald Trumpy coming in, weighing in on General Flynn's case today. This was so
exciting.
Not
pre-recorded.
Such great news today.
We're live.
We are live, and the world is full of ads.
Skip ad.
No, it's not. Come on, Trump.
Where's Trumpy?
To have you here.
There we go.
You say-
No. I can't watch it. It's not playing. Trump had some good words to say, I guess.
Can you read them?
No, it was just the video.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable.
So maybe you can bring up a video on YouTube.
Of Trump and Flynn on Flynn?
Yeah, Trump's Flynn remarks.
Okay.
All right. Peter Strzok notes on Flynn reveal Obama directed Flynn investigation. Biden raised the Logan Act violation. Handwritten notes taken by former FBI agent Peter Strzok revealed that President Barack Obama directed the FBI to continue investigating Michael Flynn just weeks before he was to become President Trump's national security advisor. Just weeks. Obama's on the way out. Hey, I want you to investigate Michael Flynn. Really? This was a coup attempt of Donald Trump's, but also an attempt by a former administration to destroy and disrupt the incoming administration. You could.
Is it he would do that again?
Yeah, today.
Because wasn't he with him the last time they asked about Flynn?
They might have been. But the president of Poland is in. By the way, the president of Poland's in town today
To see a specific monument.
Well,
actually,
they
that
had
been
desecrated
defaced.
a Polish monument in the United States. A Polish man was
Right.
a war hero
Yeah.
in the Revolutionary War, and they gave him a monument, and they desecrated it, and he was here to pay respects to that.
All right, here we go.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my gosh,
We got
you have
our
to see
big
Trump. You have to listen to
end-of-quarter
Biden.
deadline
Isn't that
coming up
great?
at the end of this month.
I think it's a great honor, and frankly, Poland's a country we have a tremendous relationship with, and I have a very good personal relationship with the president. So this is the first after COVID, after the start of the plague, as I call it, and it's an honor to have you here.
And do you think this is a mark of progress in the
I'm very
coronavirus?
happy about General Flynn. He was treated horribly. He was treated very, very horribly by a group of very bad people. And I think you'll see things are going to start to come out. But what happened to General Flynn should never happen again in our country. He was persecuted, and many other people were persecuted. They spied on a campaign, and they should never spy on a campaign, to put it mildly. It never happened before in the history of our country. The Obama administration spied on a campaign. This is just the first one. He's been exonerated, and I want to congratulate him. He's been through a lot. He had great courage, great fortitude. If they spied on a campaign, there's never been anything like that happen. If that were the other way around, people would be in jail for 50 years already. Thank you very much.
All right, he's absolutely right. So back to that. Up until now, it has been unclear exactly how Obama was involved in this FBI investigation of Trump's national security advisor. Strzok's notes are believed to have been taken on January 4th, 2017, the apparent date of a White House Oval Office meeting with Obama, Biden, FBI Director James Comey, Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, and National Security Advisor Susan Rice, who then went on to say that something about everybody who supports Trump is stupid, whatever.
412 says, it annoys me when they talk about domestic politics when foreign leaders are here. It's disrespectful to me. I think it kind of is too, but
Well,
it's
Trump
capitalizing
has to
on the
use-
moment.
Yeah, exactly.
He needed to get that moment to get those words in, because that's when everyone's
The
listening.
notes show, according to a court filing, that those officials discussed transcripts of Flynn's private calls with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak and how to proceed against Flynn. Obama himself directed that the right people investigate Flynn. The notes also show that Biden raised the prospect that Flynn committed a violation of the Logan Act, an obscure 1999 law that no one's ever been prosecuted on. The filing noted that potential Logan Act violation became an admitted pretext to the investigation, something that no one's ever been prosecuted on.
Right.
And in fact, John Kerry is guilty of with Iran. And previously released court documents reveal the FBI had been moving to close its investigation of Flynn until Strzok personally intervened. We talked about this on the basis that Flynn had calls with Kislyak. Remember, Strzok notes are out. Obama, Biden, Yates, Rice, Comey all discuss Flynn Kislyak calls on usual times. Comey admitted they appeared legit. Obama ordered, make sure you look at things with the right people. Biden appears to be the one who raised the Logan Act violation. Rice had memorialized the Oval Office meeting in an email to herself on the last day of the Obama administration. According to her email, the meeting took place on January 5th, 2017, but the recent filing shows that it may have taken place on January 4th instead. Strzok notes reveal Biden knew about Flynn probe despite his denials. Former Vice President and now 2020 Democrat presidential nominee Joe Biden claims months ago that he knew nothing about moves to investigate former Trump National Security Advisor Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, but newly released documents prove otherwise. Biden, appearing in May on ABC News this week, was asked by news anchor and host George Stephanopoulos what he knew about moves to investigate Flynn while he was vice president. He responded, "I knew nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn." When confronted by Stephanopoulos, he admitted a now famous January 2017 Oval Office meeting with then President Obama and other top officials where they discussed Flynn. Biden claimed he understood the question to be whether he had anything to do with Flynn's prosecution. He then said, "I was aware that they had asked for an investigation without specifying who they were. And that's all I know about it. I don't think anything else. Look, think about this," he said. "This is all about diverting attention." However, newly released
a man's life hangs in the balance, but it's all about diverting attention.
Showed that not only was Biden aware of President Obama's order to investigate Flynn, but he had suggested that Flynn had violated the Logan Act. I know nothing. Oh,
but I got an idea.
But me, I got an idea. Let's get him on the Logan Act.
Legit, though, Biden could be telling the truth because he's kind of going downhill faster than a Flintstone car without anybody pedaling.
Previously released documents show the FBI had moved to end the investigation. We talked about this over and over and over again. Strzok notes, remember, he says he said nothing, and the Strzok note said, of course, that you did know. Michael Flynn lawyer Sidney Powell says the rule of law has prevailed. Sidney Powell exclusively told Breitbart News that the rule of law has prevailed after appeals court ordered a lower court to grant a request by the DOJ to drop its case against the former national security advisor. Powell told Breitbart News that she is delighted to see the rule of law at work. The court appeals decision is consistent with every other court that has addressed these issues. She continued, "We appreciate the integrity and professionalism of the Department of Justice that produced the exculpatory evidence that has been hidden for years. The prosecutor stepping forward to dismiss a case that never should have been brought. We trust that Judge Sullivan will follow the law," and quickly entered the order of dismissal. And now we're going to play something for you. Are you ready?
Nope.
Flynn calls in to Rush Limbaugh.
I really appreciate your comments. I'm told that we have General Flynn on the phone. Is that Michael Flynn? You are here on the EIB Network's phone. Is that right?
How about that, Rush? Yeah, this is Mike Flynn. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm a little stunned.
I want to just tell you, first of all, I know that you got a lot of prayers coming from the Flynn family for you and all the things that you're going through. So just know that, and I just want to say, from the bottom of our hearts, you've been right from the beginning, and we can't thank you and your listeners enough for all the support that they have given us through this fight. And obviously the fight's not over, as you've been highlighting for not just today but for a long time.
Right.
And what the decision today is really, it's a good thing for General Flynn. It's a good thing for me. It's a good thing for my family. But it's really a great boost of confidence for the American people in our justice system, because that's what this really comes down to, is whether or not our justice system is going to have the confidence of the American people in it. And boy,
well,
your listeners know this.
You had to have your doubts in it for the longest time. I can't imagine what it's been like.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll maybe there'll be another time that we can get into the details of it. But I will just tell you that I have always believed and fought for our rule of law. The most important thing that we have in this country, bar none, is that. And we have to make it work, whether we like it or not. And it has to work with the right people and the right leaders and the right the people of our country to step up to the plate. And elections matter, right? Voting matters. So anyway, I just wanted to just get my 2 cents in with you today, and tell you that we think about you often and we pray for you, and that we are so happy with the decision, not only for our family but for our country.
General Flynn, thank you so much. I'm still a little stunned here that I'm talking to you. Have you signed anything? Is this really over, or is it just we just assume it's going to be?
No, it's not over, and some of your listeners have been talking about it today. It never ends. The struggle for this country will never end. You know this, Rush. You know this, and this is we're a country that's an experiment based on some great ideas from some terrific, founding, citizens of our country. So it's never over. I do not expect it to be over. This is a phase that has ended, and we will go into another phase. But I'm from good Irish stock, so my family has really stuck with us and behind us, and I think a lot of Americans have seen that. And then people like yourselves, leaders like yourselves, have stepped up to the plate to guide the American people through what has happened. So, there'll be more to say in the future, but I just mainly wanted to say to you, thank you so much for all that you have done for my family and frankly for our country.
Well, it's been an honor, General Flynn, and everybody is so happy for you here. It's actually justice deserved. And justice served. We only wish the best for you and your family, sir, and God bless. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Well, one last thing that I will say, that's for all your listeners, and that's for me to say, on behalf of my family and frankly for our country, is that Miss Sidney Powell, who's been my terrific lawyer, she is the American guardian of justice. That's what she is, and she is somebody who you want in your corner, boy, when you're in the middle of a knife fight, which I have been in. So, that's right. I call her American Guardian of Justice.
You both prove that these people can be engaged and defeated. You both prove that pushing back on them can succeed.
Great. Yeah, it sure can.
Great lesson.
You got to find the right weaknesses, and we finally did. And that part of that was just the weakness was to shine light on truth. That's really what it came down to.
Well. No question about that. I'm glad that worked. I'm glad truth still has the power to do what it did for you.
Their weakness was to shine the light on truth, and I want to do a whole video on this later, but I've had some red pill moments with people on my friends list, people in our own lives lately, where exposing some of the Black Lives Matter organizations and people just wanting to go with it. And then when you see and you expose the organization, they're Marxists, they want to destroy the family and all these different things. And then I shared with a friend the Vodi Bakum videos, and she came back to, where do you find this stuff? Well, I'm on Twitter. There's a whole group of conservatives. If you guys get on there, you'll find them. They'll just come up. You've got the Gateway Pundit. I follow the Gateway Pundit, the Breitbart News, Zero Hedge, Daily Caller, Daily Wire, The Federalist, World News Daily, InfoWars, and you have to search them out, because in 2016 I followed all these pages and people: Steven Crowder, Tim Pool, Mike Cernovich, Jack Posobiec, and I follow a bunch, and Millie Weaver is fantastic when you find these pieces, these puzzles. It used to be that they would come up in your newsfeed all the time, and my newsfeed was just news. And when Hillary lost, they began to slowly draw that back, and then within the first few months, see, that's where you guys remember in 2016, if you ask everybody where they got their news, they got it on Facebook.
Right.
Facebook was first fought back against Hillary Clinton and the Democrats and said, we didn't do anything. Well, then they realized, we can't allow Trump to be elected again. And right now, I think that the National Pulse, Steve Bannon's War Room, they discovered that 99% or 95% of people on Facebook's censorship guardian people committee are all Democrats.
Right.
And some of them, I don't know how many, but a large portion aren't even in the United States. So a lot of them are Chinese. A lot of them are Chinese communists.
Right.
Censoring. So the algorithms have been rewritten so that you see the same dog picture from your friend over and over again. But we're breaking that somehow. Come this news cycle, our friends have been sending videos to each other, commenting on things and just sharing things again. And it's upticked again. It's not going to be like it was in 2016, where it was an intense, wonderful, beautiful battle that we were winning. So just a note before we go to our next little story here. Everybody is going to...
Before you get to that, on that Flynn call with Limbaugh, you know, if you can listen to that call and think to yourself that Flynn is not honest and completely upstanding and just golden through and through, then you don't have a good judge of character.
Right.
The very first thing that he comes at Rush with is, I want you to know that my family and I are praying for you, because Rush's health has been rocky for like the past 10 or 15 years. Okay. Because he's on the front lines, and when these people attack you, I was talking to a very dear friend of ours yesterday, and she said, you know, everybody has their breaking point talking about Donald Trump. And I said, you know, I really don't think, like, yes, he does. That's what I said. But his breaking point is higher than anybody I've ever met in my life. Rush Limbaugh, you would think tough as nails kind of guy because he puts himself out there. But when these people come at you with the lies and the vitriol and the hatred and the spinning of truth, and they sling you through the mud, it takes a toll on your health. Okay, so that's why Flynn says thank you, because you're putting your health on the line to tell my truth.
Right.
And that's what is so amazing.
Well,
about
on that,
phone
before I go on to the next little story here, the appeals court order states, upon consideration of the emergency petition for a writ of mandamus, the responses thereto, and the reply, the briefs of the amici curiae in support of the parties, and the argument by counsel, it is ordered that Flynn's petition for a writ of mandamus be granted in part. The district court is directed to grant the government's Rule 48 motion to dismiss, and the district court's order appointing an amicus is hereby vacated as moot. In accordance with the opinion of the court filed here in this date, the appeals court judges in the case were Karen Henderson, Robert Wilkins, and Naomi Rowe. Wilkins is a former President Obama appointee. Rowe is a Trump appointee, and Henderson is a former Bush appointee. Rowe states her majority decision, this is plainly not the rare case where further judicial inquiry is warranted. To begin with, Flynn agrees that the government's motion begins with the government's motion to dismiss, and there has been no allegation that the motion reflects prosecutorial harassment. Additionally, the government's motion includes an extensive discussion of newly discovered evidence casting Flynn's guilt into doubt. Rao's opinion also makes a constitutional point. The circumstances of this case demonstrate that mandamus is appropriate to prevent the judicial usurpation of executive power. And the order also prevents Judge Sullivan from hearing the amicus curiae, the friend of the court, briefs in the case. Sullivan had appointed retired Judge John Gleeson, who had criticized the Trump administration, to argue against dismissing the case. The court did deny Flynn's request to have the case reassigned from Sullivan to another judge. The ruling by the appeals court is a major victory for Flynn and attorney Sidney Powell, and a defeat to the special counsel Robert Mueller, former FBI Director James Comey, and the deep state partisans who had sought to convict Flynn in their pursuit of false allegations of Russian collusion against Trump and his 2016 presidential campaign. There was one more thing that was interesting about what the court said in this case. There we are. Let's see if I can find it. Here, this is a picture of the handwritten notes. Let's see.
412 says it's mandamus.
Mandamus, thank you. I knew it was not saying it right. What the court had said, I'm going to try to find it. I'm going to sum it
Mark
up.
Hayward on Facebook says Flynn still has $2 million in legal bills. The Flynn prosecution could have been a trap. You sure won't find the truth on the mainstream media, and some of the best private reporters are on BitChute, and they have been banned from YouTube.
Wow.
Flynn would not go along with all of Obama's corruption, so Obama fired him, and Limbaugh has stage 4 lung cancer.
Yeah. there was another thing that it had said is that if basically, I'm going to sum it up, if we do this, we would be going against the rule of law and setting a precedent for judges to go. The idea, actually, of the amicus brief is supposed to be if the prosecutor goes haywire.
Exactly.
Nobody ever fights a dismissal of the prosecutors, like, ever. Speaking of people being censored, we are now on Parler. I just joined a couple days ago. Everyone is going there. Laura Loomer is the most famous person so far there. She's got 300,000 followers. She is leading in her. She has a 9-point lead over her opponent.
Are you serious?
She is probably going to win the seat.
Please let this happen.
Please
let Laura Loomer get to Congress. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Look out, Ilhan Omar. Look out, AOC. Laura Loomer is in the room. And I'm going to tell y'all something, okay? I am not Laura Loomer's #1 fan.
No, I know.
As a matter of fact, you guys have heard us call her out on, I think that she is
really
too much.
like
I think
the
she's
way
over the top.
Yeah.
I don't like the way she handles stuff.
Right.
But I will tell you this. Girl speaks the truth. And she doesn't have a filter with it.
Right.
And I can back and support that all day long. Right. Please, if there is a God, let Laura Loomer get to Congress.
I'm running for Congress in Florida's 21st Congressional District.
It has to happen.
Wouldn't it be horrible if we lived in a nation where journalists were silenced just because they confronted the political and media elite? You might think that could never happen in America, but it did. And to me. For confronting people like Hillary Clinton on her corruption and Ilhan Omar for her ties to radical Islamic terror groups, I have been banned on pretty much every single platform. And if that doesn't sound extreme enough, I'm also banned on Uber and Lyft. I know, I cannot understand that last one either. When this all happened to me, I contacted the media and members of Congress. I asked them for help.
She's from Uber
I kept calling, I kept emailing, but I never received a reply.
But AOC isn't. Ilhan Omar isn't.
Pause it right there, because I want to finish. No, go ahead and let her finish her video.
Of the most powerful people in politics and media, yet I couldn't get any assistance. What on earth would the average American do if the same thing happened to them? I realized then that if I wanted to see change, that I would need to run for office. The American people deserve representation that listens to and acts on their concerns. So here I am, running for Congress in Florida's 21st Congressional District, because the American people deserve a voice and a representative who, like President Trump, will keep the promises they make and speak up loudly and clearly for that silent majority.
I don't know how she's getting this done, because like I'm getting emails from her on the standard like Trump email list where they, you know, I got an email from Josh Hawley the other day and stuff like that. Like whoever is helping her with this campaign, I don't know who's funding her. It's awesome. Okay, and it's working and it's effective. Now I can't remember what I was going to say earlier about her, but please let this happen, God. Just please.
Yeah, an extraordinary case with an extraordinary ending. Judge Napolitano says Flynn could sue the DOJ.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
President Trump and his...
do you remember when we watched that, was it Ready Player One? That movie, I think it was Ready Player One. Anyway, where you go in and you are an avatar, right? And you think to yourself that in today's society, we understand the idea of being canceled, okay? You're canceled in that no one accepts you, no one, listens to you, your voice isn't allowed to be heard, right? When they step into the realm of canceling like PayPal and and Uber and Lyft, and they can start restricting you from using everyday things when you are not a criminal. Now, granted, she's been arrested, I think, maybe once, but she's not in jail, right? She's not an ex-con. She's not a felon, okay? They cannot take your rights away, okay? Establishments only have the right to refuse you admittance when you have personally caused a scene or something, right? the fact that they can cancel you as a human takes it to the point where we talk about these vaccines. If you don't have, I was talking to a friend yesterday, if you don't have the vaccine one day, you won't be able to use the bus or a taxi or go into a grocery store.
In Loomer's case, I will say this, though. It's possible that she used Uber or Lyft to get to, like, Nancy Pelosi's house and change herself.
That doesn't matter, though, because, no, that doesn't matter. You could say, you could use anything. She used her driver's license, so she can never have a driver's license again. I mean, that would be law. Like, law has to take that, into it doesn't. That's not how we function in society.
Well,
okay?
I would hope that Laura.
She's not a criminal.
Things that she would not change herself to Nancy Pelosi's gate again.
Okay, but did she have to serve time for that?
She was arrested.
She was arrested, but did she have to serve time?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just saying she's not a criminal.
Okay. No, I'm just...
They can start canceling people, like saying we are now back to pre-civil rights.
Right.
Today, for President Trump and his Justice Department, a federal appeals court ordering the dismissal of the criminal case against the president's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn. Let's get right to the judge, Fox News senior judicial analyst Andrew Napolitano. Judge, great to see you. So what does this mean right now for Michael Flynn? Is it over?
Well, it's about 99.9% over. The reason there's that little window is because the former judge, John Gleeson, who was appointed to recommend and then defend what Judge Sullivan, the trial judge, did, still has a window of time in which to ask the entire District of Columbia Circuit Court of Appeals to take the case. So the ruling this morning was from 3 judges on that court. There are 11 on that court. If 6 of them say we want to hear it, then there'll be another appeal. I don't know that that's going to happen. If it happens, we'll know about it within the next 4 or 5 days. But if it doesn't happen, then this is over for Michael Flynn. Dana, this is not the reversal of a conviction. This is an acquittal. This is a dismissal of the charges against him. Even though he twice pleaded guilty, all of that is undone or will be undone if and when Judge Sullivan complies with the order of the appellate court this morning.
So what kind of redress would Michael Flynn have? Can he sue the Justice Department for legal fees that he's accumulated over these years?
Ordinarily, the answer to that is no. So if a defendant is investigated, tried, prosecuted, and acquitted, the defendant cannot sue the prosecutors or the FBI agents who developed and brought the case against him. But in this case, the documents that the DOJ filed said there was no good faith basis for the prosecution from day one. Where there is no good faith basis, then the people involved in the prosecution lose their immunity and the government loses its immunity. And the only issue to be resolved is how much does the government owe Mike Flynn? Now, his legal fees up to the time that Sidney Powell represented him, she's the absolutely marvelous lawyer from Texas who took over the representation of him and began the process about a year ago that culminated today. But prior to her taking over, he was represented by a firm headed by former Attorney General Eric Holder. That firm billed General Flynn, you ready for this? $6.7 million. So the general can file an application for that, actually have a trial if there is to be one, for that $6.7 million, as well as whatever he or whatever was paid in his behalf
were they doing for
paid
$6.7 million?
to Sidney Powell.
And then that will be really before
fast. Judge Sullivan. And the issue will be, were these legal fees reasonable and fair? And if they were, then the feds, you owe this money to Mike Flynn. It's an extraordinary case with an extraordinary ending.
So, and catch me up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sneeze on you.
What happened to...
It was.
No. Wrong way. Other arm.
Wrong way. Sorry.
You're unbelievable.
All right. So, okay.
Sidney Powell for president 2024. I would vote for her. I would absolutely vote for her. Oh my gosh. That's a good point, Alan.
Okay. So,
are we going to go to this Bubba Smollett thing?
Yes. So,
Bubba.
Bubba Wallace
Bubba.
is a NASCAR driver. And it turns
Is that
out...
a given name? Like, is anyone born with that name, Bubba? Or was he an older brother? And then he just gets called Bubba.
I don't know. I don't know. Well,
I love
this
that
is the
name.
story.
Bubba.
Okay, this guy was assigned a new garage. And it was garage number 4. And he was not in the garage. Okay? However, someone else was in the garage when they called him and they said, there's a noose in here. And the whole world went crazy. You had NASCAR get on the track and everybody walking in this, this moment of solidarity. And what it is I'm going to try to get, the picture is in the thumbnail. I'm going to try to find the picture. Michelle might even want to bring it up so you can see it better. I don't know. It was not a noose. It was here. This is it. I can see if they can see it behind me. This is the noose. Okay. Yeah, they can see it perfectly. This is a garage door handle. When the FBI sent 15 people to investigate a hate crime. This hate crime. When NASCAR could have interviewed the guys there, it has been there since last October. It helps the garage go up and down and probably just down. Okay? As one NASCAR garage tech said, it could maybe hang a Barbie. A Barbie. It is big enough just for your hand. Okay? Ain't nobody looking in that and saying this is a noose. Now, remember we said we covered in California? Mm-hmm. There were swings. Mm-hmm. And the California mayor said it didn't matter the intent. That was still a symbol of hate.
Right.
So, Bubba Wallace, now, everybody was giving him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, you didn't know, it was a mistake. He has still come out and said, but it is a noose. But it is one. And his dad... Once all of them...
Integrity is in question right now. I get on social media normally in the mornings at breakfast and
his dad's
just see what's going on and what's being said and what's new. And then everybody is questioning, to the fact that he has something to do with this. He was in his bus. They came to him like, hey, here's what we found. And so, he had nothing to do with it. And then, like I said, the way the world is right now, everybody's on edge, and everything is just being blown up out of proportion. I mean, what's the symbol of a noose? That's death. I mean, I don't care who put it there or what the reason it's there for. It's there as a garage pull. It's something to be able to pull a rope to pull the garage down. But what was going through the person who did it in 2019 or whatever. I mean, it's been there that long. And my thing is, why hasn't somebody noticed it since then? So like I said, that's, to me, when I think of a
no
noose,
one
it's a symbol of
saw it as a noose. Okay? Here's the deal. If you were a Boy Scout and you ever took, and you have like a knot tying badge, okay? Throw it away. They're going to haul you off as a racist. Because using rope and tying any kind of knot for any reason that has a loop in it is now racist. I gotta tell y'all. So, my shoe. If I hang my shoe upside down, like this, that's a noose. I don't even know why we have shoestrings. It's racist. My shoe actually has black spots on it too. Also racist. Okay, do you see that knot? Total racism. I don't understand how we're getting away with this. Okay? Hang on. It gets worse. I need to confess something. Because I do this every day. I tie up tomatoes. It's racist for me to use twine to tie up the tomatoes.
Kind of does maybe look
it's
like a noose.
Kind of, and I think it's white privilege. that I even have the twine to tie up the tomatoes. If a black person comes to my house, I'm going to make the news. Because I have twine and tomatoes tied up everywhere. On my deck, you just took twine this afternoon, went from the tomato up to the top rafter on the deck, above it, and back down again. And knots.
I'm so sorry. I'll take them down tonight.
Repent.
Yeah.
Everybody that has ever used rope or tied a knot ever. I gotta get rid of my shoes.
No more
I have
repelling.
to. I mean, I'm not gonna take my shoestring out right now because I'm not that committed to being.
Bubba Wallace, you
racist.
had your 15 minutes of fame. You created a hoax and got caught. You're not a victim. Bubba
Velcro
Smollett.
for winners. Thank you.
Bubba Smollett.
Redneck says, "Careful, Michelle. You could hang a squirrel with that."
A noose is designed, to cinch down when pulled. Therefore, your fingers would get stuck and it would not work as a garage pull. A scaffold knot, or similar, is designed as a loop and won't cinch down when pulled. It wasn't a noose. Ever. No. You're knots. Here we have a scaffold knot instructions. Wrap the tag end around the standing part of a bite of rope. Wrap it 2 more times. Bite of rope.
Bite of rope, okay.
Wrap it 2 more times in the opposite direction. Pass the ends through the loops. Take it out parallel to the standing part. Hold the loop and pull the end to tighten. A thimble can be inserted in the loop to protect it from
So
wear.
hang on.
Hangman's noose. It's not the same thing.
Right. So.
Not the same knot.
You do not know your knots.
Not
okay.
The same.
What they're trying
knot.
to say is when you've got a hangman's noose, it's loose when they put it around someone's neck, right? And then the horse runs out from underneath of the person that's being hanged, okay? Or if this is medieval times, the thing falls out from underneath. And you know what? Historically, they just hang anybody. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. In England, y'all hung a lot of people. Like, you hung thieves, right? So, the noose cinches down on the neck. A garage pull, if you were to... I wish I had something here. All I got is Leah's rubber band, okay? If you're pulling down on that, and if that were to cinch on you, right? That's not going to be effective as a garage pull. It was just a regular loop.
Prior owner left this when I moved into the new house. Should we call the FBI?
Probably.
This is a garage pull. It's a garage pull, but it could be a noose. And that might be the old owner saying, hang yourself.
Unbelievable.
This is somebody else's garage.
We should go take... Well, see, ours, I think, actually has the red thing, But I probably have something... I have a lot of things around here that are tied with loops on them. We're just loopy around here.
We're just loopy. All right.
Maybe they should... Listen, if it's got a loop on it, maybe you should take it more as the symbol of, I think you're loopy.
All right. In all seriousness.
No, there's nothing serious
The fake
here.
news story makes everyone look bad. Nascar. As if it already looked good. The media, Bubba Wallace, Bubba Smollett, LeBron James, social media, and the NFL. The alleged hate crime that was catapulted. NASCAR and Bubba Wallace to page 1 of the news cycle was debunked on internet sleuths in less than 24 hours, and the FBI took 36. 2 days after issuing a statement that a hanging noose, go out in your garage, take a picture, see if you have a hanging noose, had been discovered inside the garage of a half-black, half-white Bubba Wallace, NASCAR released the follow-up statement. The FBI has completed its investigation at Talladega Super Speedway and determined that Bubba Wallace was not the target of a hate crime, the FBI report concluded, and the photographic evidence...
I confess my closet light has a loop.
Oh my
Mama's
God.
closet light
has
Mama, don't be... My mama... She better not be suicidal. And you know what? I gotta tell you, that thing will break.
So the closest thing that any of us ever actually...
The FBI has said. The FBI report concluded that the photographic evidence confirms that the garage pool rope fashioned like a noose, but it really wasn't fashioned like a noose, but the FBI says fashioned like a noose, even though they don't know they're not. None of them were Boy Scouts. Had been positioned there since early last fall. This was obviously well before the 43 team's arrival, his almost 43, at the garage assignment. Go ahead, here we go.
Well, no, it's just the closest thing that any of the rest of us ever get to anything that looks like a noose is when you wrap up like a cord or a rope like that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but if it doesn't have that kind of characteristic thing there, it's probably not a noose. Okay? I'm just saying.
The website, theconservativetreehouse.com, figured this all out on Monday night, posting a video footage and pictures documenting that the garage at Talladega Nights had a hanging pull rope with a small, and we're not even going to call it noose because nooses tighten upon pulling. A hoop. It was a loop. Can we just say a loop? Can we not say a loop? It's mind-blowing that Nascar couldn't deduce this Saturday night when a Bubba Wallace team member spotted the rope. And maybe where did the rope go to? And did it happen to pull the garage down? And labeled it proof of racial intimidation. Mind-blowing isn't the right description. It's impossible to believe it took the FBI to solve this mystery. There's a level of willful ignorance, and that can only be reasonably explained by NASCAR's desperation for relevance and traction. They're the only ones trying to do sports right now. Besides badminton people in the backyard like us. At a time
killing it.
When all sports leagues and their television partners are hemorrhaging money, NASCAR leaned into the news story because it was good for business and good TV. That's all
it's good for business, except for it's your garage. Like, okay, it's Talladega Nights garage.
It didn't matter. What it didn't matter was we are NASCAR. We're not. They're not doing the Confederate flag anymore. They're trying to be more woke. You understand? Right. Anti-black racism is the preferred plot line of Netflix, CNN, Twitter, Hollywood, ESPN, Fox Sports, MSNBC, professional athletes, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and now every sports league looking for favorable coverage. Go ahead, demonize NASCAR. Its history makes it easy, worthy target, but willful ignorance is driving the decision-making of every sports league, including in the NFL.
Do you realize that the person that saw this, probably a white person, I don't know, okay, but I'm going to assume, okay, so, the person that saw this noose, excuse me, thank you. The loop, the garage pull, and see, they had to be a racist themselves to translate a garage pull handle and go, that is a noose. Yeah. It's a loop, my friend. It's a loop.
The Black Lives Matter movement has provoked nationwide chaos, violence, and rioting across the country. The movement's founders have publicly admitted that the ideology driving BLM and Marxism is the political theory of Karl Marx, the father of communism. Karl Marx preached against religion. He argued that religion is a tool used for the exploitation and stupefaction of the working class. Communist countries traditionally impose atheism as the religion of the state. The ideology driving BLM directly contradicts traditional American values, the values long celebrated in sports. Tuesday, the San Francisco 49ers, batted did goal, by the way, unveiled a Black Lives Matter flag at Levi's Stadium next to the American flag. Communism next to America. From Roger Goodall on down, the NFL has accepted Black Lives Matter as its Lord and financial savior. BLM sent its only begotten son, Colin Kaepernick, to save us from all sin. Save us all from sin. This week, Brett Favre spoke in tongues, and make an analogy between Kaepernick's sacrifice to NFLer turned soldier Pat Tillman. Soldier and Colin Kaepernick. This is willful ignorance. It's being embraced across sports and across America. The American media have imposed race and politics as our new religion. Many people who claim Christianity and other religions as their faith have in reality prioritized race and politics well ahead of God. They talk and worship race and politics daily, hourly, from their Twitter pulpits. They use race to evangelize for their political beliefs while rarely ever evangelizing for God. That's why any alleged sighting of racism is treated as a miracle. It's like Mary sightings.
It is.
Oh my gosh, we had
It's the Magic Glory.
It's Mary miracles. Oh my gosh, it's another racist. Let's go look at it. We all must go and fan over it. We'll create little lights and candles and everything. It is a religion.
That's good.
Bubba Wallace, here we go. That's why any alleged sighting of racism is treated as a miracle. The kind of big question. Now, miracles don't mean, here's the thing, in Catholicism, miracles aren't actually like a healing or something. It's mostly like if you see like Jesus' face in butter or something, or an apparition, or you see a certain kind of light or a certain halo over the sun or something like that. We learned that from my Catholic friends. If you question it, you run the risk of being categorized as a non-believer of the secular church of social media. This is the Inquisition. The Bubba Wallace news story required questioning and a healthy skepticism. Access to the garage area is so restricted and surveillance so prevalent that it made little sense for someone with credentials to plant a noose inside Wallace's garage. Wallace should have been skeptical too. His explanation that he never saw the noose or sought to see it makes no sense, except you wouldn't see it if it was just a plain old garage pull. You wouldn't notice it.
So
if it was just the daggum garage pull, then you wouldn't have noticed it.
If someone was gonna make a point, you would take it and you would hang it in the middle of the garage.
With a real noose that's cinched down big enough for your head, not a Barbie.
And you wouldn't put it there a year ago.
I know. Hoping that he might get garage number 4.
Now, I am curious, though. What are the other garage door pulls? Like, what are they using for the pulls on the other garage door? Is this some sort of thing that, like, an Uncle Jack rigged up because it was...
The garage pull broke.
The garage pull broke, and they were like, here, hand me that rope. We're gonna
make... I'm a Boy Scout. Let me show you how to make a good rope.
Or was it just some good old boy, Whitey, that decided, you know what? I'm going to make a noose. I'm going to make this loop. And maybe one day someone will think that it looks like a noose.
And a black guy will be a driver
and they
here.
will be offended.
It's a loop, guys. Okay, so Wallace should have been skeptical. His explanation that he never saw the noose or sought to see it makes sense, because it was just a rope. After his 14th place finish at Talladega, he seemed to revel in his newfound fame and attention. We're just 14th place, but now he's just famous for being, noosed. Tuesday morning, he appeared on The View and rebuked people for questioning the authenticity of the hate crime.
How dare
Tuesday morning, Wallace had no idea the alleged noose was there a year before the car arrived. That's difficult to believe, especially after watching Wallace's Tuesday night CNN interview with race-bait pastor Don Lemon. Wallace sounded defiant and angry, like a man who'd spent 48 hours immersed in his Twitter mentions. Pastor Lemon counseled Wallace to get off social media. Wallace claimed critics were trying to dethrone him from his pedestal. Rather than express feelings of relief that he was not the target of a hate crime, Wallace cast himself as a victim of unfair social media criticism. I get it. No one wants to be made into an analogy of Jussie Smollett. But the handling of this affair is a bad look for Bubba. He seemingly assumed this would play out the way LeBron James's alleged hate crime played out. So did LeBron, a newly ordained pastor of the racial politics at the More Than a Vote Church of BLM. Pastor James rushed to social media this weekend to make sure his 46 million Twitter disciples knew Wallace was a victim of a hate crime. In late May 2017, an alleged vandal spray painted the N-word on the gate leading to LeBron Brentwood's mansion. Pastor James never provided proof of the vandalism. His deacons repainted the gate before police arrived. No security cameras captured the alleged crime. The mainstream media never questioned LeBron's story. The media treated it like the story of the Virgin Mary. Anti-black racism is the new religion. It can't be questioned or studied. It's accepted on faith. We ascribe a power to it that's greater than God's. If anti-black racism is against you, how can you succeed? Racism is in control of black people's destiny. Racism explains everything. If you believe 100 shootings and a dozen murders in a weekend are a bigger problem than police brutality, you're racist. If you think Kaepernick sabotaged his NFL career, you're racist. If you argue anti-black racism is a real problem and the best way to combat it is through promoting black self-sufficiency, you're racist. If you write that Nascar, Bubba Wallace, and the mainstream media all hung themselves with a fake news, you're an insensitive racist who should be targeted by a social media lynch mob.
So here's the deal. I have a story for
That
you.
is from Outkick.com, and I got to follow them. Whoever
Excellent article.
I need to follow them.
When Kansas first moved here, he has a zero-turn...
Dude, Jason Whitlock is black.
Well said,
That makes it even
Jason
better.
Whitlock. All right, so he has a zero-turn radius mower. He was mowing the grass. When he finished mowing the grass, he got off of his mower. I think it was like an hour or two later.
Let's see, we'll find this guy.
we had neighbors over, and they were talking and stuff like that. I think it was like the very week that he moved in. And we look, and
I remember
his big Dodge truck window has a big giant. Was it completely obliterated? I don't remember. It had a hole in it.
Someone had shot.
It looked like someone had shot the window. Okay, and we were really concerned. We're like, is someone angry that Matt has moved here? Is this a hate crime? Like, even our neighbors were like, you come to, I mean, we really have a nice neighborhood here. I don't know what in the world. Like, I can't imagine. We're like, oh my gosh, we're getting ready to call the cops because someone shot his window, right? I don't remember how long it was before, I don't know if it was Kansas, figured out that he probably, with his mower, we have a gravel driveway, had kicked up a rock, and it's a very powerful, professional, commercial grade mower. Yeah. Okay, because it's what he did for a living prior. Had probably shot a rock through the. I don't know if we actually found a rock in there, but we pretty much surmised. You know what?
It wasn't.
The odds are that it wasn't a hate crime. That we don't have haters in our neighborhood going, "Who's this new guy moving in? Bang bang." Okay. Now, when we found out that it was just the rock, the damage was the same.
Yeah.
But we were relieved that it wasn't a hate crime. Because ain't nobody want people to be hating on them. Unless
you want attention.
You want attention and you like the agenda behind it.
And there's adrenaline that comes and excitement because everybody's watching you.
Right? You should be relieved. Thank God somebody don't hate on this new boy that moved in the neighborhood shooting up the window.
Right.
Thank God somebody didn't hang a noose in my garage to threaten me, to hate on me because of the color of my skin. Like, really? The fact that relief, and you said earlier, was really pertinent. You said, when people make a mistake like this, if they are genuine people, they would come and they would go, man, I made a mistake. Like, I'm glad, right?
Really, I'm glad.
But if you have made up a story, then you're going to double down on the whole thing. And he's even got his dad doubling down. Like, why didn't somebody change this before? Of course, everybody would know that is a noose. It's a loop.
What it proves, though, is that people of color are too sensitive. and a lot, and it could be, like, some, not all, could be too sensitive, and that this climate has created a sensitivity, and just like, so like if you hurt yourself, like I have a bruise here that's really sensitive, you touch it, it hurts. So what the mainstream media does is they hit you and they hit you and they hit you, and then when something comes and then you're like, ow, it hurts so bad, so they're really sensitive, so you think somebody punched you when they just touched your bruise or you know your broken arm or something,
right?
But I gotta go.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna sign off. How about all that? So excellent news on General Flynn.
Yep. I'm signing off. I gotta go, guys.
This is the best news that we have had in a long time. Things are just getting better and better and better.
Better.
Today is Wednesday, right?
Yep.
So we're going to be back here in 2 days for our weekly roundup of news. We'll probably hit on these lightly. But I want you guys to be blessed. I had planned to do a Bible study today. It didn't happen. It's not going to happen tomorrow either. So we're looking at next week. Sorry, guys. We're having family over tomorrow and for a belated Father's Day for Uncle Jack. So, I also want you guys to be excited. Oh, let me tell you something else. God is moving in a very, very big way. And we have very dear friends of ours. I have several dear friends. I've actually been messaging a slew of them today. But one in particular I'm thinking of is Serge. Who we had on back in November about the Medjugorje cult. If you guys remember that. It was an excellent interview that we did with him. They're like family. He and his wife are like family to us. But they live in Oklahoma. So anyway, the stuff that the Lord has been revealing to us about the last days and the end times and the misconception of that is really incredible. And I'm hoping that within the next month or two, we'll be able to put together something to give that to you guys. Just straight up. because it's really, really, really on fire. Amazing, amazing stuff that God's been revealing to us. It's all written right there. We don't have to play this guessing game. End times theology is all theory, and there are a lot of different ones, and no one has hit on the actual answer. And once you get to the actual answer, you're like, of course, this makes total sense. It's all about the kingdom of God and us reigning as kings and priests here on this earth today. We have that through Jesus Christ. So I want you to be excited about that and be praying for us that when we do put this together to be able to present to you guys, that it will be comprehensive, and the Holy Spirit will lead it. So there's that. Now, last night I had a dream. You guys remember seeing Eric and Terry Mathis in the chat a lot. Also friends of ours who we've never met. Serge and Christy we have, but Terry and Eric are friends of ours who we just literally have never met in real life. We just know them from the show. But I messaged them because I had a dream that we were out there in Arizona, and they were showing their garden and all their plants and their animals and stuff like that, because they become farmers and so on and so forth. And I was very proud of them, and I was talking it up big and telling somebody else about everything that they had done. And all of a sudden, this giant dust storm hit. And it was the most intense thing that I had ever experienced, in my dream anyway. And stuff was flying, and it came so fast. It came really, really, really fast. And it was really, really intense. Now, when it was over and the dust settled, we were covered in dust, but we were safe. We were fine. We were all okay. But the storm itself was really, really intense. And then there was a dead guy, and we had to solve a murder, and that was really incredible. But I messaged this dream to them today, to Eric and Terry. And Terry messaged back, and she said, "We do get these. She said that they're called kaboobs. Now, let's keep everything pure here. Kaboobs. All right. May not even be pronouncing that correct, but she said they come out of nowhere, right? Not really out of nowhere, but they come and they will take visibility from clear to really, really, hazy, and they're really intense. So we do experience these out here. About, I don't know. I can't remember if it was a half hour later, whatever. I'm scrolling through Facebook, and a friend of mine shared an article. A lot of you may be familiar with this. I wasn't. I had not heard of it. There is a dust storm. All right. It's been in the Caribbean and I think Puerto Rico, and it's really, really intense. It's reduced visibility to, really, really, it's really intense, and it's headed to Texas. Should be there tomorrow morning. And then it's going to kind of circle around, like, let's say this is America. It's coming this direction, all right? And it's going to hit Texas, and then it's going to come up like that, right? To the east. And they do get these periodically, but this one is like the most intense in 50 years. So I dreamt this dust storm. Well, what's even more incredible to me is that one of the prophecies that the Lord had given me about 2020, I know we have told you guys parts of it, but one part was the Lord had spoken to me, and I wrote it down, when the dust, and I put in parentheses, earth settles, all will be made clear, all will be made known. And I thought that was figurative. But I've held on to it because right next to it is where I wrote the prophecy that Leah got, that the Lord told her that the entire earth would stand still. The earth, the whole earth would stand still, not like the globe, but like the earth. And what did we see with coronavirus? The entire earth stood still. So I'm eager to see what happens after the dust settles from this intense dust storm. Leah had read to me that these dust storms come from like tropical areas, and they bring with it all of these really great minerals and nutrients, and they help actually replenish soil, which is fascinating to me that they are actually kind of a healthy thing. So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just telling you the things that happen to us in everyday communications with our friends and our family, and dreams that the Lord obviously gives to us, and prophecies. We don't share a lot of that stuff here on Resistance Chicks, but this one was too big not to share. I literally had a dream about a big dust storm last night, and then I wake up today and find out that it's a thing, and it's headed here for tomorrow. So, and it's happening in places right now. And that the fact that goes hand in hand with what the Lord spoke to me in that word about 2020, when the dust settles, all will be made known and clear. I don't know, guys. So Tim Smith says that's a movie title, The Day That the Earth Stood Still. That's right. That's right. Alan Campbell said, someone told me long ago there's a calm before the storm. I know. Tim Smith says, from Africa, it will make great sunsets. That's what I hear. So, Adeline says, the dust storm coming from the Sahara Desert. Yes. Alan Campbell says, TV weatherman said it is not harmful, but it will make really awesome sunsets. Now, when they say it's not harmful, some people should stay indoors. If you have trouble breathing and stuff like that, I think that would be a good idea, especially if you're in Texas. So, I'm going to sign off. Haboob. It's an Arab word we brought back from Iraq. Thank you, Paul. Haboob. That sounds like very Arabian Nights. That's definitely, that makes a lot of sense. Paul Mansky says it precedes a thunderstorm from the updraft. So anyway, I just want to share that with you guys. Had no idea about a dust storm. It's a thing. 2020. It's coming your way. It's coming our way anyway. It's going to hit Texas. So if you live in Texas, take pictures, send them to me, massfaith33@gmail.com. We might show them on air on Friday. So remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory. If it's actually the truth, we love you guys. God loves you. God bless. We'll see you back here on Friday night at 6 p.m. roughly Eastern Standard Time, and again on Sunday at 1 p.m. I think. Yes. 1 p.m. we're going to be here for our European and UK news. So be blessed, guys. Go with God. Get in the Word. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to do a Bible study this week. We are going to be doing Acts 6 and 7 combined together when we do gather together for that Bible study. I'm really, really excited about it. But God had other plans for today, so we're signing off. We'll see you guys on Friday. God bless. I was cold all alone. No place